we will crank this on up.
Okay, I've got it going.
All right, and I'll do the same. And hello, this is David Sanders, and I am the host for today's presentation of our CBS Marketing Alliance and Mastermind. And what we're going to be doing today is a presentation that I will be doing for week 8 of our Mastermind. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right.
I see you.
Okay, then you don't see my screen yet. All right, let's see if I can get this to work just like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And now,
Got it.
now you get to see my screen. And how's that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to mute everybody, and then we will switch over to using our chat box. Everybody got your chat box? All right. So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself if you have something to say, and also there'll be a few times that we will unmute during the course of the presentation today. So today's presentation is called Marketing Strategies That Work, and quite a number of years ago, Christopher Callan, who we see as a green telephone, was actually helping me to market this program, and it was a lot of fun. But we marketed this to a lot of different chambers of commerce throughout the greater Los Angeles area. And what was that, about 24 chambers of commerce over about 18 months. This one and some of the other webinars that I did at that time, or seminars. So we're going to start off with the cold water dip of why we're doing this in the first place, because if you want to be successful, it would help to know why businesses fail. And one of those reasons is because that they lack knowledge. And reasons for failure that the Small Business Administration, the SBA, gives us is the following 10 things. What we're going to be dealing with today are going to address and help you overcome 5 of those 10 things. There are other management tools that you would use to overcome the others. But by lack of experience, by doing the things that we recommend in terms of your marketing, you'll overcome a lot of that. If you market well, you'll get some capital. If you survey right, you won't have a poor location. And competition, well, just outmarket them solves most problems. And low sales, of course, marketing is going to deal with that. So there are 4 key problem areas with which I deal as a consultant. And the first is not having enough business. For that, there are a number of management tools that can be used: marketing, sales, public relations, and a variety of others. Some it's production and exchange. You're just not getting the product out. You're not getting your money back in, or those kinds of problems. That, again, excuse me, is handled by certain tools. For some reason, I just got this tickle in my throat, and I hope I get over it soon. It'll make it smoother for you. Sorry about that. Organizational problems. The place is a zoo. Excuse me. Or overwhelming issues like taxes, government, regulators, things like that. So first of all, let's do a little survey, as we have been doing. And I want to know, the members here, have you surveyed yet? If you have, please put yes or IP, or blind if you're going without survey so far. Blind, okay. Just one surveyed, good. And Christopher may have a problem with her iPhone. We'll see. Next is your website responsive or making progress toward responsive? If it is, you put mobile. If it's mobile friendly. If not, well, it's old. I've got a mobile. Good, good. Nope, mobile. Good. We're making pretty good progress on that. And I've got mine finally mobile friendly, or at least maybe a day away from it if it's not repointed at the new one yet. Then what about being updated on as far as your listings on the internet for your company or yourself? The listings correct? Have you grabbed them and taken hold of them, or left them out there so that some competitor can come in and list themselves there under your name or something? So go ahead and put cite if you have grabbed some citations, or unlisted if you have left it all to chance. Okay, good. Work by one, yeah, one. And got a little unlisted. All right, well, we handled that in one of the earlier sessions, I think number 3 or 4, but did a great job on that, and that'll give you the education you need and the links that you need to do it. What about logo and branding? You set up with the logo, got your branding going, or blah. Yeah, good. And then what about Facebook ads? Joel's been talking about. Well done, Joel. Anybody else maybe done some Facebook ads or working on the Alliance? I know that, I think, Maria, you went in there for the Alliance and posted a problem, and I posted some solutions. I hope that helps you. So we've got some yeses here. That's good. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to go ahead, for those of you that have attended today, I'll be sending you, as my gift for attending, a tracking of what, over the years, has been the most successful types of marketing you can do. We're going to be covering these today, but I will send you a list of this at the end. Now, the intended result for today is to know how you can market strategically, and not just drift around and try this and try that, but work on a strategy. So on marketing, the marketing program that I use is developed by L. Ron Hubbard, and he has a 21-step program. The 21st step is high volume success. And that sounds like a pretty good idea. So we're going to go through the first 5 steps today briefly. So grab a pen or be prepared to take some notes on your computer. I sent out some worksheets today. You can print those out or put them up on your screen, and one side of the screen, and be watching this on the other, and I think you'll have a real good time with it. So the first question is what it is that you want to market. Now, I've clicked the second step here too fast, but we went over this earlier in the mastermind because it is a fundamental that you have to start with early on. That is, what are you going to market? And there are a couple of major factors in this. One of them is what's profitable, and the other is what's easy to sell to get new business in, from which you can upsell and sell additional materials and so forth. So what you're going to have to market can vary pretty widely. And I can give examples if this is needed, but why don't you on the chat, I guess I'll unmute some of you, like Christopher Kent, put it in the chat. So you'll have something set up by which you can go ahead and know what you're going to market, what we're going to be talking about. Say yes or no. Type it. Yes, for Joel. Christopher, you know what you're going to do?
Yes, I'm looking to market a musical performance class. Okay. And also, I'm always trying to see how I can apply these things to myself as an actress, promoting myself as an actress. That's a little trickier.
Yes, and then Maria, you've got your What is it that you'll be marketing?
I have these dance and choreography workshops.
Right. Good. And then Joel, what's your intro service?
Mine is website design services.
Okay. Good. And you have any kind of an intro package or anything like that that you do?
No, I've never really been able to work that out since once you get into designing or redesigning a website, it's a fair amount of work. It's not something I've been able to figure out a sample or a low-cost offering. So it'd be interesting to come up with something.
All right. So have you made a full list of all that you have that you can sell?
Not any place other than my head, no.
Okay. So just taking an assessment of your head then, how many of those items are there that you can sell?
I'd say right immediately, I would say 3 or 4. I mean, website design from scratch, redesign, custom development, and maintenance services.
All right. And is the website design the basic foot in the door with most clients in?
I would probably honestly say redesign is more common. Most companies have some kind of website, but we do more redesign than anything else these days. Have for quite some time.
Okay, and is that profitable?
Sure. I mean, that's is the same as a brand new website design as far as cost goes, because you're very often not starting from scratch. They have something there, and they have some idea, but you are putting a new website there. So there's usually not that much difference in cost.
All right. But that is something that you could market.
Definitely.
All right, so let's pick that item then, because that's going to be our second step here is pick one item. Yeehaw! All right, so I'm going to mute everybody again, and then we're going to move on to our next exciting step, which is taking a look at what a pie would be like if you were trying to market all your services at once. It would be pretty diverse. It'd also be rather expensive to try to make a pie like that. And it might not be all that satisfying to the buying public. So the next step is to find out all about it. Now, Joel, I expect, with all these years, knows all about his marketing websites, and I'm sure that Maria and Christopher have a whole lot of expertise in all about what it is that they deliver. So let's look at then another part of that, which is competitive analysis. What about your competition? Because that's part of marketing, obviously. So I don't recommend that you bash the competition. What I recommend is that you look at what they do that is successful and also understand where you fit in relationship to them. And a peculiarity in this, just to mention it since we have some showbiz folks here on this particular one, and that is that very often in showbiz, people don't know why they're successful when they're successful, why they get the job when they get it, and why they don't when they don't. It's all just a big mystery. And this comes down really in the end to they don't really know exactly what it takes to be successful. Otherwise, they would just do it. Because it is definitely obscured in that industry. It's obscure enough in the industries where Joel and I operate, much less the entertainment field. But if you understand what is it that people do that is successful, that really is important. However, the people that are successful very often do not know how to evaluate what got them there. For instance, I have a father-in-law who is 92 years old. And up until very recently, he's been in terrific shape. President of his bowling team, highest scoring member of the bowling team, and all this kind of stuff. Well, if you ask him, how did you live to 92 and get in such great shape? He says, well, I drink a martini every afternoon. Well, guess what? He's only been doing that for a couple, 3 years. So that didn't get him, it might have gotten him from 89 to 91 or something. But anyway, so even just talking to the people that are there, they may not know what it is that's causing it. So you're going to have to evaluate what is it that the successful people do when they are successful, or that you've done when you've been successful, and understand your relationship to them. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Another is, how do you attract people today? What are the most vital factors in marketing? How do you get through to this lady here who is an over-communicated member of our society? Well, guess what? We've got problems. All of us have inboxes in the computer that from time to time look a little like this, or with all the different things that we have to do, it just looks a little like this. If you recognize that the person you're speaking to may have an inbox and a life that looks like this, you'll recognize that you need a little bit more than just a sweet smile to get through all that. Now, where does marketing fit into the organization? This is an organizing board that Mr. Hubbard developed, and it fits actually in two places. One is called internal marketing, or marketing to your existing customers, clients, public, patients, whatever. And the other is external marketing to Division 6, as we call it, to people that are brand new and don't know all about you and what you do and how you do it. So which one, by the way, do you think is the easier one to work with? Your internal public that already know you and like you, or the people that have never heard of you, or at least never done business with you? Well, yes, that's right. It is all much easier to do business with people that know you. So that's what we're going to concentrate on today. And what we're trying to do with that today is, with internal marketing, is only two things. We're trying to create more transactions with existing customers, or we're trying to create larger transactions. Either you're building more websites or bigger websites. And so what is the most workable marketing method or methods for most businesses? Well, here's where we come to taking the notes and the material that's sent out today. So once you're done with all this, if you will scan them and email them or fax them to me, I'll make it a lot shorter by not asking you your responses at each step of the way. And but nonetheless, I think you'll find it fascinating. So I'm going to go over these 9 different methods. And I asked you, have you tried these methods, and did they make you any money? Now, what do I mean by make you any money? You don't have to have gotten to the point where you're ready to retire from that item. I don't mean that you really lined your pockets and pumped up your bank account. I mean, if you spent $100 or $1,000 on this, did it make you back $101 or $1,001? So at least it broke even, and then a little money or a lot of money, whatever you're able to do. Because in marketing, very often, once you get the ball rolling, it keeps rolling. It's much easier to keep it rolling than it is to get it rolling in the first place. So if they made you money, how about getting referrals from people that you do business with? So if you've done it, go ahead and mark that as a yes. And if you made money from it, it cost you $50 for your business cards, and then you got $5,000 worth of business on it from referrals. Good, well, that's a good deal. Newsletters. Now, you all know that I send out a newsletter weekly or bi-weekly, or sometimes I get busy and send it out monthly. But this newsletter, as an email newsletter, is a predecessor, or comes later than, rather than previous to my physical newsletters that I used to send out. And I highly recommend the newsletter as a tool, but have you tried it? And secondly, did it make you money? It is We'll talk a little more about it a little bit later. Letters to your database, or could be called central files. If you have a database of all the people that have ever done business with you, that we would call central files. And have you sent those out? And did you make money? Postcards and flyers. Well, have you tried sending out postcards? Usually multiple times is the best way to go at it, or putting out flyers. And to make money, special events. And I'll talk more about that a little later, but have you held like some kind of a big party or some kind of a bash or some kind of a special event? Special offers, 2 for 1. If you got more than one business, we can do 2 websites. You'll buy 2 weeks for the price of 1, or whatever. 2 people can come for the price of 1, whatever, or 25% off. Any of these are special offers. Telemarketing is, of course, just calling up people with whom you do business and or done business and offering them getting acquainted, reacquainted, trying to build up some future traction or present traction. Email campaigns and social media. So we'll go through these in a little bit more detail, and you can add to your little list here on referrals. We recommend that you use all your contacts, both professional and personal contacts, as a route to getting additional business. And it's a 5-star method. That is, just about everybody that does it makes money from it. So it also makes sense to create a program for it, to enhance it, do various things with it that will improve your return. Newsletters, what I found is that generally speaking, about 50% of the people that try newsletters find that they make money from them. I think that it's well suited for all of us here on the call, because we all do things that are fairly newsworthy and fairly interesting. If we just send out flyers saying, buy our website, come to my class, hire me as an actress or something of this nature, it actually is considered junk mail. Whereas a newsletter is considered partly educational. And so it has benefits well beyond just the regular flyer or something of that nature. Letters to the database. I was shocked to learn, as I surveyed this, that about 90% of the people that have actually written to their own database of people that have done business with them before make money off of sending those letters out, whether they're email or they're physical letters. They both work. Cards and flyers, frequently with a little ad, a simple pitch, something like that. About 60% are 3 stars, make money on that. Special events. This is a wild variable, but anything from horse races to soccer to let's go out to have a big dinner and invite everybody in to enjoy together. These work, and they actually provide sources of publicity. Special offers, again, I don't recommend having multiple offers in the same card. I put this up as an example of one that, it's not that great because it's kind of a shotgun offer. You're much more likely to get the result on a narrower offer. 5-page website redesign for this price, if you're going to do that kind of special offer thing. Telemarketing, well, this is about 50% effective. But it certainly, you got a 50-50 chance, and many people are good enough on the phones that it increases their likelihood of making money a lot better. So if things get slow, get on the phone. That's one of the things that you can do, and it costs very low. Email and social media. Well, email, oddly enough, is also highly effective along the lines of the letters to the database and so forth. You're looking at 3.5 stars, about 70%. And social media is a wild variable. So then there's another key question. Now that you have covered all that, and I'm going to unmute you for a moment here and just say, does this seem to align well with your experience and what you see in terms of these 9 items?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm doing most of those, have done most of those, and have gotten results from most of those. It's, for me, a matter of times change, so I've got to shift around where I put my emphasis on, and then increase the orders of magnitude, just because in order to get it up to the level to really get the number of responses to keep the business viable.
Right. Good point.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Maria.
Oh, I was going to say, I've through all the years, I've always had really good success with phone calling. I pick up the phone and I talk to people if I have a new class or something special's happening, or just even a reminder like text now, like dance is on, blah, blah, blah. But if I can get them on the phone, I can close them, or they're like, oh, we just get back in communication. So it's really been like more satisfaction.
So that's been your strong suit. Very cool. Christopher, what about you?
I would agree with Maria regarding my classes. It's primarily me on the phone and calling former people, and then referrals that they have given me have also helped a great deal. In the acting world, I noticed that flyers and e-flyers, I also have done e-flyers for my classes, and I've always had good response in that. So that's kind of been my experience.
Very good. And we've got Matt, but I don't think he's got a mic there. So if you want to type something in, Dr. Matt, that would be great. So I'll hit the mute again and off to the next little screen. So the next thing, once you have your tools, your phone calls or your email blast or whatever it is that you're going to use, what should you say? And how do you figure that out? Well, surveys help you to say the right things. If you're going after the teenage girl public, then you're going to need to survey the teenage girl public to find out what do they want to learn, or what's going to turn them on about an acting class or a dancing class or a website or a chiropractor or whatever it is, as compared with an old fogey such as me and Joel or something. So another thing you want to look at is, how do you create promotion that will pull? Again, the answer to that is you find the buttons. What do I mean by button? It means something you push that gets a response. And you say, easy to learn, become popular, become the most popular person in your class, whatever the case might be, and there you go. If you miss their button, marketing often bombs, and you make less and less from your efforts. Surveys will get you a response to your marketing. So if you get into an area of time or what you're using that does not get a response, well, it's time to resurvey and make sure you're saying the right thing to the right public. They will generate some awesome statistics once it's done right. They also tell people tell you what people are going to need, want, or demand of you. And this lady sitting there going, well, that was what I was hoping you would say. So that was what I was hoping you would have to offer for me. You also have the other little peculiarity that surveys then relate to these two sides, both the internal marketing to your own clients and former clients, and external marketing. And those publics are different. Somebody that's already had you work for them, Joel, already knows that some of the big nasty, mean things that people hate about webmasters, not to be general, you don't do, hopefully, anyway. Like, you know what the biggest negative button of a webmaster for a webmaster is? You know what that is? From what I have seen, and my research on it shows that it's they don't return my calls. They don't get to me. They're too busy to talk to me or handle my stuff.
Well, we have gotten a lot of clients for that exact reason, that a new client is with us because their last web designer did not respond, and that is very true.
Right. So that's a big negative button. People that have worked with you know that you are not sitting on top of that. They're not buying their way into another problem like that. So I would use that as a negative button to attract the people that are unhappy with their current person, based on the fact that you do that well and it's easy for you to do, and it is a source of new clients, particularly for redos.
That is, yeah, it's interestingly enough, we are doing that right now. We've already had the talk on responsive websites, so we're kind of doing a little hook on that now when we do our networking meetings or go to a networking meeting, that we do responsive websites and we are responsive web designers. We pick up the phone. So interesting that you say that.
Yeah, that's a campaign that I think would work. Now, I want to go into something that is a bonus for you today. That's a little above and beyond, but it happens to be one of my most exciting and interesting topics. And that is, how do you stand out and be different? Because there are quite a number of web designers in Los Angeles, if I recall correctly. And probably even several dancers and dance schools. And when I last was there, I ran into more than one actress as well. So, and chiropractors, well, there's not very many of those, but you know, how do you stand out? And the answer to that is the technology to which I'm going to introduce you next. And it is a part of these steps on how you actually set up your marketing to work well for you. And so we're going to start off by everybody going over to your chat box and rattle off the names of some rental car companies that you can recall, that you've heard of. So give me some names here. Okay, Enterprise, Hertz, Avis, good. National, yeah, there you go. Budget. And so here's an interesting thing. According to the research that's been done, in any category, from web designer to a dance instructor to chiropractor, people are generally able to recall a maximum of about 7 people on that list. So somebody like me, when I get ready to do a website, I might go, okay, so who do I know that does website? Or in this case, I was asking for rental car companies. Well, the largest list here, we got 2 people that said 1, and then one that said 3. So typically, it's just going to be a few items on the list. That works in your favor on one side and against you on the other. If you happen to be on the short list, that's great, but if you're not, you've got this issue. So how do you stand out if you are a car rental company, just to take it outside of our little sphere so we can kind of look at it exterior? How do you stand out? How do you create that? Well, you got this product ladder for rental car companies. Somebody is on top. So anybody got an idea of who's on top in the rental car company business? Hertz? Is that right? Well, you know, there was a day when Hertz was on top. So we'll talk about that day. When I was first studying marketing, Hertz was on top. and Maria knows the right answer. But Hertz was on top, and Avis came along, and they came into a campaign in the early 1970s where they were talking about, we're number two, we try harder. And this was one of the very first campaigns of its type in the world. And it was so successful because it positioned them as the underdog, and Americans' traditional love of the underdog, and that they try harder, that, and people thought, well, we try harder that's got it. No, it was a number two. We're saying we're number two, give us a break. And by George, they did, and they became number one. At which point, the ad people started looking at each other going, so now what are we supposed to do? We're number one. What are we supposed to do? We got here by claiming to be number two. And they couldn't figure it out, so they fell back to being number two. So then Enterprise got busy and really hustled and got out there and did stuff that the other companies wouldn't do. And they have since acquired Alamo, and I think either Budget or National is now all part of Enterprise. So they're number one. So positioning is this technology of that product ladder. Where do you fit in relationship to sorry, the others in your field? And how do you stack up? And that is a technology, and we'll probably do more on it. But the logo also tends to implement that positioning. So Joel could be a webmaster with roots in the days when the internet wasn't even cool yet. Whatever, you could have all kinds of fun things to do. But Aflac is an example of somebody that came up with a wild logo. Why'd they do that? Well, before the duck came along, did anybody ever remember hearing of Aflac? No, they're a huge company, but the name was a disaster. It's a disastrous name. And they took that and turned it into something by a very creative use of positioning with a duck, no less, for insurance, for accident insurance. So all kinds of wacky things happen to this duck, and communicates both Aflac and the accident phenomena, so they work pretty well. Another thing that fits in with all this is strategy, coming up with a strategy. That's part of why I'm recovering this whole area with you on the steps of strategy coming in, and sales campaigns. You use your surveyed buttons in your sales campaigns, and if you say the right words, you've only got, say, a few seconds or minutes or something to talk to somebody. You better say the right words, and they better be the ones that get the person to stick around or say, yeah, that interests me. Because you've got some button, like easy to use, maybe that's a 60% button. 60% of the people who walk up are going to respond to that. And you might have others that would be like super high quality, and maybe it's only 10% button. So you would talk about super high quality, and 1 out of 10 people would stick around, or she'd talk about easy to use, and 6 out of 10 people would stick around and talk to her. So that again comes back to knowing the buttons. I may have showed you this earlier, but does anybody take a look at this and see what it is that this organization is marketing? What are they selling? I intentionally am giving you a language which you don't speak or don't write read so that you just look at the pictures, look at the art, and tell me, what are they marketing? What do you think? Cordless telephone? Nope. What else? Well, here's what they're marketing. A voice over IP system, sort of a competitor to Skype. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? They're really in there. Okay, well, this again is an example of somebody failing to utilize the surveyed buttons in terms of the art. So going back to Joel's concept, if you put any promotion together about your responsive website, you would want to create some kind of an image that communicates responsiveness and so forth. For instance, when I set my youngest son up with his own webmaster business when he was in junior high school, I named the business Websites in a Flash, because at that time we were using Flash, which is the animation language of the web, and I knew that the slow delivery and slow response time was a big button, a big negative button. And so Websites in a Flash became the name of his company, and he made websites for a bunch of my doctor clients. Said, oh, I've got a son that's a student that'll make it for you. I didn't say that he was a junior high school student. But he's got great websites. So get started right. You use surveys, you use strategy, you work out a positioning, how to position yourself in the marketplace. Your logo reflects that positioning. You understand where your competitors sits. For instance, there may be more than one positioning available, let's say in the creative dance arena. Let's say the one positioning might be, I'll help your son or daughter, mostly daughters probably, get a shot at Broadway, or get a shot at being able to do dance as a career, something of this nature. Or it might be have a lot of fun, become more popular, or it might be physical fitness. It might be improve their self-image. All these kinds of things could be a part of it. So you look at your competitors. What are they promoting? You know, somebody might be come and learn dance and improve self-image. Well, if they're already well established with that position, it doesn't make sense to go after it. If you've got that as a position that's open, and the other positions are that you can think of, they're all kind of taken, well, maybe that would be a direction to go. You'd have to do a little bit of survey work to find out if it would fly. But you're getting a feel for how this works? Because if you just go up against an already established competitor saying, me too, me too, me too, it is less effective. And then, of course, a sales campaign needs to reflect what it is that you're talking about. Okay. Now, any questions? I'm going to unmute everybody and see questions.
You've covered an awful lot of ground today, and even before these seminars, webinars you've been doing, David, I written out a marketing program, and then I keep revising it based somewhat on these seminars and other things I'm reading and doing, and then took just one step of the marketing program and had to write a 15-step project on that, and then got into one step on that, and there were another 25 steps to do. I mean, I generally, the more I write down my programs and projects, the clearer it is. But do you have any advice on, I mean, I've got on your sheet here, what one thing am I going to do this week for sure? Where to start? or is that dependent on the business and what's in place? Or, you know, you gotta start somewhere, have a stable datum around which to align the confusion, or in this case, all the activities. Do you have any particular advice on that?
The basic advice would be that you would take the 21 steps that Hubbard lays out in the marketing series 3, Marketing Hat, and you would go have those be your basic guide. So you might splatter off and do a bunch of extra stuff on one, but if you take one item and run it through that whole regimen, so you know what the buttons are, you know how you're going to position it, you know you got that taped, then you can take the next item and do it that way. I recognize what you run into. I run into the same thing, believe me. And I multiply it pretty badly because I have 3 or 4 pages of things that I can do instead of 4 items. So pity your poor leader here at this point. But that's what I would suggest.
Good, thank you.
Good, Maria. I know you got to run. Anything real quick on your end?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm improving. My stats are improving. It was really good to hear this today because I did find a little niche in the last month that has really sent my stats up to an affluence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Push it. Push it hard.
I want to, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Christopher.
I want to thank Joe a little bit for asking that question because have stepped back. I haven't taught this class for a year, and I realized I needed to kind of reorganize it in a more professional way. It was something I was kind of doing on the side, and it was great. But I want to really look at organizing it so that it is a moneymaker and all that. So I think I was getting a little overwhelmed because there's so much wonderful stuff here. And so that question and that answer was very helpful to me.
Great. All right. And then Dr. Matt, if you've got access to the chat, you're welcome to pitch in anything. I'll talk with you later. If you need, if you get too overwhelmed and need a done for you resource, you can call me. Or
Okay.
and I can help or refer you to somebody that may be able to help you out.
Very good.
We have used a lot of the technology with a lot of different people, a lot of different successes we've got in the economy. Don't take chances and implement. That's a basic principle. Take what you learn, implement as much as you can, and keep pushing it. You need to hire somebody to be part-time to help you, or say, look, I'll give you free dance lessons, free acting lessons, and so forth, if you'll help me market and do this and that and so forth. And, you know, $10 an hour times whatever the cost is for the month, that's how much marketing you get out of them. You get 2 or 3 people doing that, you have to. Ways to go at it. But right now, I'm doing this mastermind, and it is definitely something I want to impart the knowledge to you. So I hope it helps. We've got a lot of tests. What should you do this week? Well, do your homework. Pick out where you're at on that basic lineup, what it is that's making the stats go up, and add some of the horsepower of some of these techniques to it and make it work. Use what
Yeah.
All right?
Great.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful.
Okay. Do it, and we'll be sending you something here in the next few days here. I'm trying to update this list of what's hot and what's not based on some of the responses that I have gotten, including whatever you wrote down. If you'll scan that and email it to me, or just get it to me somewhere, I would appreciate it. Let's make it your best year ever. Why not, huh?
Haha.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you,
now.
David.
Bye.
Thanks, David. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Joel.